You have every right to discount anyone who says one trail or another is the best of them all. But I'm here to tell you, if you narrow the choices down to the Santa Monica Mountains, this trail here comes out in the top 3. No, make that top 2. Oh, whatever. It beats them all. The hike starts at Carillo State Park, where you can park for free on the Pacific Coast Highway shoulder. Directions are in the description. Just to let you know, competition here for the free parking can be stiff. Even in the early morning, when there are surfers trying to ride the sometimes meager waves at Carillo Beach, weekends are worst. To save ourselves the horror of trying to cross the highway and outrun a car going 60 miles an hour, we opt to go down to the beach, head north for a minute, and walk through this handy tunnel underneath the road. This takes us out to the beach and trailhead parking, where there's a $12 charge to leave one's car here. We exit the lot, past the entrance booth, and look for the trailhead on the left. This is one of those hikes where we can introduce a little variety, both going and coming. Just almost immediately past the trailhead, we come to a 3-way junction. We're going to veer off the Nicholas Flat Trail and veer right to the Willow Creek Trail. And on the way back, we'll take a different route. From here, the trail immediately climbs uphill, which will be the major theme for the next 3 miles. Watch for the prickly pear cactus. There's a lot of it here. Even more abundant are the views as we ascend the ridge. In fact, there are few places along the trail where we don't have glorious vistas. It's compensation for all the elevation gain. The trail curves around to above what I can only guess is Willow Creek during wetter days. The path bounces up 3 switchbacks and then finishes on the ridge top, where we return to the Nicholas Flat Trail. The climb eases, but not for long. Did I happen to mention that the elevation gain is 1,600 feet or thereabouts? And that's over the course of just 3 miles. Now, my personal gauge is if a trail gains 500 feet per mile, that's steep. And this trail is positively steep. Fortunately, the ascent also means more views, where we can look back to the ocean and forward to the northern crest of the Santa Monica Mountains. As for the trail, it continues along the ridgeline before heading across to the top of another ridge. There's a trail junction here, and we turn left. Taking the trail to the right brings us to a viewpoint, which seems redundant. We are now finished with most of the elevation gain for the day. Not all, but most. Within a few feet of the last trail junction, there's another split where we hit right. Later, we will return here via the other trail. We start heading downhill. In a few minutes, we reach this unsigned junction with the Nicholas Meadow Trail. We continue straight for a few steps before hitting the Nicholas Pond Trail, which we take to the right. The path loses a little more elevation before passing this meadow. I'm making a note to come back in the spring when this is supposed to be greener and filled with wildflowers. After that, we come to this serene oasis known as Nicholas Pond. If ever there was a snack spot, this is it. We leave the pond on what is now known as the Nicholas Flat ADA Trail, which was built for those with mobility issues and runs to a trailhead on Decker School Road. As part of making the trail more accessible, there's this bridge which we don't cross but instead head left to the Nicholas Flat Trail. Compared to some of the trails in the Santa Monica Mountains, this one is relatively new, built in 1981, by hand I might add. That still makes it more than 40 years old. But let's consider the Chumash Trail, which was first used by natives to access the ocean from the La Jolla Valley. That's been in continuous use for 7,000 years. Puts things in perspective. The route crosses the Pond Trail again where we turn right. A few feet later, there's another junction where we continue straight, joining the Nicholas Meadow Trail. And yes, we've noticed all of these trails are unsigned. A map, electronic or paper, definitely comes in handy here. Okay, when you come to this post, don't be fooled by the arrow. You don't want to go that way. You want to continue straight this way. That trail, by the way, is the Nicholas Ridge Trail, which we join as it heads north. It brings us to this view. Behind me is Sandstone Peak, the highest point in the Santa Monica Mountains, and just over a bit is Boney Mountain. Behind them, out of view, of course, is the Backbone Trail. Now, if you want to see more about that area, look in the description below for 2 links to my videos about the Backbone Trail and the Mishimoku Trail. We continue on the Ridge Trail with the last significant climbing of the day. It heads up one hill, goes down, and then goes up again. As with so much of this hike, we are rewarded for our efforts with more looks at the ocean, this time southeast of us. We return to the Nicholas Flat Trail where we have a nearly 3-mile descent to the trailhead. So this morning, we came up the Willow Creek Trail there, and keeping with the theme of variety, we're going to continue on the Nicholas Flat Trail down to the trailhead. It's about less than a mile. Along the way, we can look down on the Carillo State Park campground with 135 sites shaded by giant sycamores. Reservations only. Finally, we hit the trailhead and find our way to our parked vehicle, wherever it might be. Whew. And that was a good hike.